Hello and welcome back. I'm Randy Newbert from VoodooFX. In today's short video, we'll be going over some of the effects that we've created for the Crest ship. So let's get started. Okay, so here is a test mock-up of the Crest lighting feature. Basically, this is the controller board over here. This is set up on a 9-volt battery setup with a momentary trigger switch in order to control the features and functions as we toggle through each effect. So just to give a kind of a general idea, is these orange LEDs here represent the warm-up sequence and the shutdown sequence. These are for all the positioning lights, the cockpit lights, interior lighting. You have 5 channels to choose from here, or a multiple of, basically, you could hook up almost 10 LEDs to these 5 outputs. And currently right now, when I go to turn it on, you're going to see it run up in a fast fashion, but it actually, when I have it all said and done and the program's done, they'll be on a random kind of a little bit of a slower sequence setup, because they'll be up on a startup and shutdown sequence. Over here, these 2 units are what are going to be for the main engine effects, and those will also be part of the, once the warm-up sequence is run, they will fire up and do their thing. So let me go ahead and I'm going to do a couple. I'm going to break the engine bells off the back for the thruster areas, so you can get a kind of an idea of how the effect will look. And again, I just want to stress is these are only to show how the feature will work in the run-up and shutdown cycle. So let me put on some of the engine thruster covers, and then that way you can see it in full action. Okay, so I'm sitting in here in pretty good light. I don't have, it's not really that dark in here, but I'm going to go ahead and the system is actually armed, and you can see there's a very little faint little green light that's on in there. It's telling you that there's power and the battery's hooked up. So I'm going to go ahead and initiate the warm-up cycle, which again, these orange LEDs will indicate. And they're going to go through the cycle quickly just because I've been running the programming and testing the programming. So here we go. And this is basically the slow warm-up cycle. And it takes a few seconds to get all the way warmed up and ready, but that's basically the running cycle right now, where it's in idle and warm up. And then now I'm going to go into the takeoff or cruise, and the intensity will get brighter and the speed will get faster, and it'll hold into this cycle until we depress the switch again in order to go back into what we want to call as landing mode, or going back into idle mode. So it runs there for a while. See if I can get maybe a little bit better close-up on these. Let me zoom in just a little bit and kind of get an idea of what the feature looks like. And then I'm going to go back into idle mode. And again, by hitting the trigger switch, you basically bring it into these 4 sequences that the effect will do. And I'm still fine-tuning the programming, but this is a pretty good rendition of what it's going to end up being. And again, these little edge lights, or the filtered lights here, will be seen more prominently once I install them into the actual engine housing. So let me back up a little bit, and then I'm just going to go into the shutdown sequence. And in shutdown, it's basically going to go till it goes out, and then you can see it goes into the shutdown sequence of the indicator lights, or the cockpit lighting, and cab lighting, and cargo area lighting. And again, I'll show this much better once I got a little bit more of the model pulled up. So let me run that through one more time. This is the startup. And that's going to go into the feature. Engines are going to go up into idle mode. I'm really impressed with the effect. I'm going to try to see if I can get a little bit better zoom in of the actual engine feature so you can get a little bit better idea. And let's go up into cruise. And this is the cruising cycle. And again, until the switch is hit, we're going to go back. And then we're going to go back into idle, or landing mode, if you want to call it that. And then finally, we're going to go down to shutdown. And this will take the engines down. And they will go into shut off. And then the sequencing will go off on the on lighting. And that's it. And then she just sits in standby and waits until it's commanded again. So I'll have a couple little more updates coming on this soon. But I just want to give everybody an idea. I've gotten a lot of requests for people asking where we're at with the project. And we're slowly zeroing in on completing the model and getting this thing all together. So anyway, so please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.